Counties Radio.
This is Mike Naylor
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
If you were with us a fortnight ago in the first of our summer programmes at this time of the day, we were looking ahead to the FA Cup final between Wigan and big spending wealthy Manchester City. And the reason we were interested is that Wigan were captained by former Luton Town player Emmerson Boyce. Emerson was born and brought up in Aylesbury, went to Quarrenham Secondary School, and when he was 10 and 11 he started to play for the junior sides of Aylesbury United. And we spoke to his first coach at that time, which was Steve Greenhalgh, and then on to Luton and their youth coach John Moore. Well, Steve saw Emmerson last week after Wigan's final Premier League game at home to Aston Villa, and I asked Steve if he would ask Emmerson to maybe give me a call, and I'm delighted to say that yesterday he did. So we recorded an interview, and not only did we find out about the FA Cup final and what it means to Emmerson Boyce, we looked back at those days when he was a youth player in Aylesbury, and I wondered whether then, at the age of 10, 11, he thought about becoming a professional.
Half and half. My dad was into cricket a lot, and I used to like playing cricket. Then my friend took me to Aylesbury United to play football. From then, I liked football. I was quite good. I was fortunate enough to be into most sports in terms of athletic, football, cricket. Yeah, I took to PE quite good. So, when I was younger, maybe, I had a dream of playing football, but I never guessed I could go so far.
As you know, we spoke to Steve Greenhalgh a fortnight ago ahead of the Cup final. He was your coach, I think, in 1990-91 to start with at Aylesbury United, and he showed me the book where you got, I think, 14 hat-tricks in that season. Do you remember much about those days?
Yeah, I used to be a striker, so I remember playing them days, scoring the goals. It was me and Nando was the main two in that team, and people more talk about him more than they talked about me. But I remember scoring them goals, and those were the days.
And then he says you weren't so keen to be sort of switched to a defender, but that's what happened, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I talked to him for about a week. I didn't like being a defender. Obviously, I was scoring goals up front, and I thought at the time that was my best position. But lucky enough, he switched me, and from then it just my career took off. So I have to tongue-in-cheek thank him.
Of course, you went to Luton Town, and we also spoke to their former head of the youth setup there, John Moore. What do you remember about when Luton first came to sort of watch you, or you went to sort of play with them? It wasn't a trial as such, but you need to show your best, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. When I went to Luton, I remember seeing John Moore, and he looked like a kind of scary guy. But he was very honest and very disciplined, And it was nervous for me at such a young age to go into Luton. You basically only have 2 games to show yourself how good you can be, all based on first impression. And I was lucky enough to play quite good. Again, I was playing defence at the time, and I think I was quick and more or less taller than most of the boys there. It was to work to my advantage, but I was one of the last ones to get my apprenticeship. So about a week or 2 weeks after everybody else, they rang me to say I got an apprenticeship. And at the time, my dad had booked my holiday to Barbados. So I think that's the first time we had a run-in with John Moore in terms of he wasn't too happy about me going on holiday. But, it didn't start off too good. But, over the years, I can't speak highly enough of John Moore. He's, even now, I've got all the time in the world for him. He's very honest, has his opinions, but he's very, very approachable in terms of the advice he'll give you.
You played in a terrific youth setup alongside players like Gary Doherty and Matthew Upson, didn't you, at that time? And then I think when you made your debut in the league side, was it Lenny Lawrence who was the manager? Yeah,
Lenny Lawrence was my first manager at Luton. Team, because we just went into administration. So a lot of the youth team players had to come through. So we had Matthew Upson, we had Matty Taylor, Gary Doherty, Matthew Spring, Liam George. We had a really, really good youth team. We got to the semi-finals of the FA Youth Cup, and potentially a lot of players that could have gone on further and made it. But how football is, opportunities come sometimes little, and I'm lucky enough that the opportunity came along for me to progress my career. And, this is where I'm at the moment.
OK, well, we'll hear more from former Luton Town player Emmerson Boyce on the programme in just a moment after this song from Sonny and Cher. It's from former players who kind of started their careers in our area across both Herts and Bucks. So last week we spoke to the former Luton Town player Marvin Johnson, who's still around here. And now we're talking to Emmerson Boyce, former Luton Town player, made his debut in the league side under manager Lenny Lawrence. Also played under Ricky Hill, Lil Fucillo, Joe Kinnear and Mike Newell. And he was at Luton from 1998 to 2004. Then he moved on to Crystal Palace before joining Wigan in 2006 for £1 million. And a fortnight ago today, of course, Wigan, just 35 years after they became a league club, won the FA Cup by beating Manchester City 1-0. Quite a big shock and an upset, that, because Manchester City had got millions and millions of pounds to spend on new players because they're backed by Middle Eastern people. So I asked Emmerson Boyce yesterday what it was like as the captain of Wigan to walk up those steps, leading his side to the Royal Box to receive the FA Cup.
It was surreal to walk up those famous steps, leading the way as captain. It was a proudest moment for me. Knowing my family's in the crowd, knowing my wife, my kids, to walk up those famous steps, knowing I'm going to lift the trophy. I don't think he even sunk in. Walking over the steps, I saw the chairman, and he was smiling, happy and that. And to look at the cup and knowing that you're about to lift it, in football times, was the best moment of my career.
And of course, Dave Whelan, the chairman, he had led you out at the start because in 1960 he famously broke his leg, sadly, playing for Blackburn Rovers in the cup final. So, it was fantastic for him how the wheel had turned sort of full circle. Yeah,
definitely. He spoke to us before the game, and he said to me it's been 50-odd years since he managed to walk out at Wembley. And to win the cup for him, there's a one picture that we got that shows his excitement on his face, winning the cup for him. He's one of the nicest chairmen around. He's always got something to say to you in terms of positivity. To see him at the top of the stairs about to give him the cup, and for Wigan as a whole, such a small club, and against Man City, such a well-off club, is like a fairy tale.
Absolutely, and you did have to go back up north more or less straight away, didn't you, without any celebrations, in order to prepare for then that horrible league game that came on the Tuesday at Arsenal, to bed more or less the normal time, yeah?
Yeah, it was a pity that we had the game on the Tuesday because we couldn't quite celebrate the FA Cup win. And for me personally, I had to go and do a drug test straight away, so I couldn't even enjoy the celebrations in the change rooms. Yeah, we had literally got on the coach, went back up north, trained the next day, and then came back down on the Monday to prepare for the Arsenal.
It's been a real roller coaster. They say that, sport is full of ups and downs, and no more has it been illustrated by the fact that, of course, you lost at Arsenal and that confirmed your relegation. So that must have sort of taken a bit of the shine off the FA Cup success, hasn't it?
Originally it did, because obviously we won the Cup and it was such a high, and then go to Arsenal, such was a low point. But the fans have been excellent. We haven't had one bad complaint. The whole town of Wigan, you see by the parade, it's like 30,000 people came out. It means so much to the town to win the FA Cup and to win a trophy. Yes, we got relegated, and as a player-wise, you're always disappointed. But the fans have said, we've been there for eight seasons, and to win a cup is for them, it's like the proudest moment. So it took some of the pain away from the relegation, and the parade on Monday was a full celebration in terms of winning the cup. And we look forward to next season because it's exciting times ahead. Yeah, we're in lower division, but we've got Europe, we've got the Charity Shield, and we're FA Cup holders. So it's exciting times ahead.
Fantastic. Well, lots to look forward to then, as you say. It's good to hear you stay so positive. Just one final thought then. Any youngsters in the area who, might now be playing for Aylesbury United or the various teams around Aylesbury and the rest of Bucks and in Herts and Beds too, they're 13 or 14 or 15 and they are perhaps the stars of their team. Do you have any advice as to how they could perhaps make it in the pro game several years down the line?
I think the main thing is to never give up, no matter how hard it is, and always try and enjoy your football, listen to your coach, and play with the right attitude. Yeah, main thing is to enjoy it, to train hard, and always believe that you can make it to the top and never give up.
Thank you so much indeed for joining us on the programme, Emmerson. Many congratulations again and on being an FA Cup winner with Wigan, and all down to Steve Greenhalgh at Aylesbury United in the 90s, and then John Moore and the team at Luton, I think. Really good to hear from you. Thank you so much.
No problem, mate.